Gives me another 10 minutes to talk. Walton Colette, thank you so much for gracious hospitality and keeping this thing going. When I came to WPI, gee, it's been over 7 years ago now. This is my 8th year. I said we wanted to work on rebuilding our relationship with our alumni as one of our important strategic goals. And it's people like you folks that contribute so much to making that happen. Kathy and I spend a lot of time traveling literally around the world, visiting project centers, meeting with alumni groups like this. It's one of the most fun things of the job, so thanks for having us, and it's a pleasure to be here, especially since CAP is now sort of ruling WPI.
All right, yeah.
I didn't understand that. I mean, you got Cahill's running the alumni association.
All right, Bob. All right, Bob.
There's a bad apple in every barrel.
And Ryan is the reigning intellectual of the Board of Trustees.
That's pathetic.
But I do want to say how impressed I am with the recolonization of CAP, and you guys sitting over here across from us represent that. It's just terrifically encouraging to see a fraternity establish the kind of standards that you now have and that live the standards that you've established. They are leaders on the campus. The Greek system works so well at WPI as it has for a long time. Emily Perlow is responsible for a lot of alumni members. The loyalty to fraternities and now sororities runs very deep. But I want you to understand how much a part of the daily life of WPI the Greek system is on our campus. They are leaders. They do community service. They are great performers on the field, on the stage, in the orchestra, in the theater, in the classroom, and at the 26 project centers we now have literally around the world, from Asia to Africa. It is amazing the work that WPI students are doing, not just studying at some other university, sitting in some classroom that's not all that different than what they would be in Worcester, Massachusetts, but literally going into the field, attacking hard, important problems out there, often in third world situations, and really making a difference. And of course that's what WPI has been all about for almost 150 years. Our 150th anniversary is coming up in 2015, remember, and we're starting the planning for that now. When I welcomed the freshmen a few weeks ago, I told them, you are the sesquicentennial class for WPI. You will graduate in 2015, and they're going to take that on as one of their exciting challenges. It's the largest class in WPI's history, over 1,000 entering students. We had 7,000 applications this year for what we intended to be 875 seats in the freshman class, and the admissions office keeps reducing the percentage of students that are admitted each year from the applicant pool, thinking we're going to be able to control the size of the class. And guess what? They come in larger numbers. They come with the best academic qualifications we've had in the history of the school. 40% of the entering students come with perfect 4.0 high school averages, 97 averages, and there are 99 valedictorians and salutatorians. I said to them, you couldn't give me one more? 12% of them are international students, 32% are female, so WPI is really growing not just in size, but in quality and in diversity, and that is really important. Mechanical engineering is still the most popular major for the entering class, although biomedical engineering is really life science, biological aspect of WPI has really blossomed in the last 5 years. We opened that new life science research center down at Gateway Park at the end of Salisbury Street right by 290, and that's a whole new neighborhood that is emerging because of WPI's investment and economic development commitments in the city. The steel is almost finished on the second building down at Gateway Park, and in that building we will be putting a new home for the Fire Protection Engineering program. That's one of the 2 premier programs in the country, and we're running a little over budget on that project because we're building a state-of-the-art burn lab unlike any one that's ever been built. We're really excited about that. There will be an entire floor dedicated to what we are calling the Biomanufacturing Education and Training Center. That is a training facility to prepare people to work in the life science industry in Massachusetts, because what we have learned is that there are plenty of people with PhDs in biology to do the research in the life science companies, but there's a whole set of technicians and technologists and sales people industry needs that the Commonwealth is not producing nearly in sufficient numbers. So WPI is stepping up and expanding its training capacity in that area. We'll also have a new home for the business school. It's not a management department anymore, it's a business school. We have a strong new dean that is world renowned as an expert in innovation and entrepreneurship. And it's very important to us that the engineers and scientists that come out of WPI understand something about business as well as the technology and the science, because as I say to them now, you know, it used to be you could count on getting an engineering degree and going to work for a company and spending a career, and then those days ended. And then we had to say to people, well, you've got to be prepared to change jobs maybe, because this is the generation that needs to go out and build businesses and create jobs and put people to work and lead the redevelopment of the American economy. And if you'd spend a little time with these kids, you'd understand what a good shot they have at that. They are optimistic, they are smart, they are double majoring and triple majoring and putting technology together with the humanities and the arts and science and social science. It's such a pleasure to be at that institution and to know that the long heritage that you all experienced of committed faculty that are really pushing students to excel beyond what they would have imagined is still very much at the core of what is happening at WPI. Up on the hill, it's exciting too. There's a new sports and recreation center that will be open in the spring. Alumni Gym is simply worn out. WPI will receive the award that's given each year at Mechanics Hall. The Master Mechanic Award is given once a year to an institution or individual in Worcester that's made a difference in economic development and civic service. And this year, WPI is being honored. So going back and looked at the history. And in the days of the Civil War, the Industrial Revolution had really taken hold very strongly in Europe. And Europe had developed academic institutions to produce the engineers and the technicians. But this country hadn't quite figured that out yet. We had the brain power. We were developing the patents and the technologies. In fact, in the middle of the 19th century, Worcester County, Massachusetts, was producing as many patents for new technologies as any region of the country. But the patent and the intellectual development was ahead of the workforce ability. And part of the idea in the founders of WPI is we need to produce a workforce that has not only the technical training, but the scientific understanding and the balance of the humanities and the arts to be productive, contributing members of this new profession, which was then in this region. There is an unfilled demand for people in high technology and in the life sciences, and there are lots of people out of work. And the problem is the people who are looking for jobs don't have the skills that the employers need. There's a mismatch. And that's why we're doing as much as we can in professional development and retraining for people as we are in making sure we're producing the kind of graduates that can go out and again drive those industries to high productivity and profitability and really rebuild this country. That's what needs to be done. One of my heroes in the 14 predecessors that I have as president was Watt Claverius. One of the, anybody remember President Claverius?
Watt Tyler Claverius.
Remember his name.
Watt Tyler Claverius is going to be a lot more about engineering and science with humanities and the social science rather than starting with the humanities and making sure you get enough science that you can say you're well-rounded. The scientific and technological capacity that we need is too important not to really focus on it, as WPI has done for a long time. So thank you for all your support. I hope you'll get to Worcester as often as you can, because there are a lot of exciting things to see there. Nothing more exciting than the students. So spend some time on the campus, feel real good about the heritage that you've been part about, and hang in there with us, because I think there's good reason to be optimistic. And this is a generation that we're now educating, I think, that's going to make a huge